So let's go back over here to the source code. And basically what I want to do is I want to roll over the image. Now, it's really, really important that the image that we plan to roll over, that it in fact exists before we try to get any JavaScript written that will address a particular image. It occurs to me that there's no way for the JavaScript to know what image we're dealing with. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's lay down some foundation, and that is I'll just say that the ID is going to be equal to oh, let's see, what should I call it? Using my typical convention, you know, whenever I open something up, I close it, so I did two quotes. I'll call it home test. That'll be good enough. Okay, so I've created a image ID for this image called home test. This makes it possible for me to grab a hold of it. With a lot of extra coding, if you will, you could completely omit this. But searching through all of the, well, they call it the document model, okay? Searching through the document model to find this particular image is not an easy thing to do without the use of a tag, because that particular file that is responsible for making all of this happen is huge, okay? So I went ahead and I just stuck an ID on it to make it much faster to get a hold of it. So now what I want to do is I want to get the ID and I want to save it away in a variable so that I can work on it, okay? And the way that you do that is we begin, of course, since we're dealing with JavaScript, we need to start with the script tag. We'll do a type, and we'll make it equal to text JavaScript. Close that down and do the same thing that I always do. And let's begin by declaring a variable to hold, excuse me, to hold the document ID, okay? So I'll go ahead and go, whoops, var document ID. That was good, to hold the image ID. Sorry, guys. Oh, I think I'll just call it home IM for home image, okay, is equal to document get element by ID, and it's the first one, so I'll just grab a hold of it, and the ID is going to be HOME test, close quote, close parenthesis, there. Now what I want to do is have a little fun with this particular element ID. When I went ahead and I said document get element ID home test, what I said to JavaScript was go out into the document object model, okay, and the key word here is object, and get the object that is responsible for handling this image placeholder, okay, and whose name is home test. So it didn't just simply get the image name, it got an entire, or obtained an entire object that had all kinds of cool little methods that are available to us, okay? Some of those methods are on mouse over, on mouse out, on mouse down, on mouse up, on click. All are tied into this particular name. So how do I get a hold of those methods? How do I work on those methods? Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a space here, tab in. The way that I use the method is I just go the name of the, the element, okay, HOME underscore IM dot, and now it's accepting it wants a method name, okay? For example, on mouse over. There's on mouse over. I want it to be equal to whatever, okay? Well, it turns out that if I create a function and I use a function name, then on mouse over will automatically execute that function. Problem is I didn't create a function. So how do we handle this? Well, the way that we handle this is we create what are known as anonymous functions. And those are functions that don't have any names, okay? But we need to let JavaScript know that it is a function, so the way that we do that, we just type in function, F-U-N-C-T-I-O-N, and there you are. We've just notified JavaScript that a function is coming along, okay? in my open curly and closed curly, put in a space, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go home underscore IM, which is this guy right here, right? Because we took home test and we stuffed it into home IM. So home IM dot src, the source image, is now going to be equal to my home test image. HOMETESTIMAGE 1. Okay. .src. Remember, we set all of this stuff up in the rollovers, right? So there you have it. I think I'll just put a little note here to myself. Anonymous functions. Depend on a preload. Sorry guys. Okay, so there we go. Those images are all preloaded. Okay, that's on mouse over. So let's see what this actually does. I have no idea. I haven't run this or tested it or anything like this before I decided to do the lecture, so hopefully this will work. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and reload it, and when I hover over it, sure enough, look what it did. It didn't do anything else, so it just turned it blue and left it blue. Let's refresh that again and maybe it, oh, blue, yeah, that's not good, huh? We need it to go back. We need it to go back. So that means we're going to have to pop in another function, okay? And in this case, it's going to be an on mouse out. Command C, or Control C, whichever operating system you're using. On mouse out. Again, it's going to be basically equal to exactly the same thing as this, except for just a couple of very small adjustments. So I'm just going to copy it and edit the results. So there's my function. The source file, yep, that's what we're changing, but we want it to go back to what it originally was, which was image 0. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's give it a test. Reload, and there it is. Hey, isn't that cool? That part's working. So now we go to the next one, which I suppose is going to be on mouse down, right? So home underscore IM dot on mouse down is going to be equal to, again, function stuff. And in this case, I wanted to bring up the red house, which I think was number 2, right? So we've done that. Come on back over here, reload it. Sure enough, it works. But when I unclick, I want it to, of course, go back to the blue one. So let's move this up so you see me write code. Suddenly it occurred to me that I'm getting really close to the edge of the screen. Okay, so I have, let's just highlight this whole critter, pop that in place, and now it's going to be on mouse up, right? So we'll come here and do on mouse up, and in this case it's going to go back to image number 1 because I want the blue image to come back. And let's see how that works. Okay, refresh, come in here, sure enough, click and click. Isn't that cool? Awesome. Okay, so now the next trick is to do the click to load our image page. Okay, so now what I'll do is on mouse, or just simply, I think it's on click. Okay, so we'll go over here and I go on click, and this time the function is going to be quite a bit different. Okay, in this case what I want to do is I want to open up a window, and I think I'll give it a name and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go window dot open, my parentheses, quote index.html, because I'm going to go up to the home directory, close quote, and I think I would like it to assign a name to this window that it's opening, called home window. Okay, and that pretty much covers that. So we'll put a semicolon after that. And I think that that'll cover all of what is necessary to make this work. So let's go ahead. Did I save it? Save it, go over here, we'll launch it. Okay, now here's a little trick. If you wrote all of this code that's over here and you want to test everything without going to the actual home window, what you can do is you can click down and drag away. That way it won't actually go to the spot. Okay, but if I just click it like so, it says try file name, so obviously I don't have the correct address, which I don't really care. Okay, you just need to make sure that the index, well, there it is. That's a problem. We forgot to do that, right? Control save. Let's go ahead and go back. Will it go back? Well, it opened a new tab. So, all right, so here we go again. Refresh. Try this again. And sure enough, it loaded it up. Okay, so we know that it is definitely working. It's definitely doing its thing. Okay, well, do you remember what I was saying before about having JavaScript in my document? I'm really not big on this, so what I'm going to do is I think I'll just go ahead and stick this into a function, okay? And since I already have this JavaScript file, I'll just put it in this one and then later rename it. So let's grab a hold of this. We'll Control X to get rid of all of that. Come over here and I'm going to create a function. And I'll just say init rollovers, init rollovers, okay? And I'll do an open curly and a close curly. Go here and paste all my work. And of course, make it look pretty, right? And the next step, of course, is to see if this works. So Control Save. Let's get our parentheses working right. Control C to copy that. Come over here and Control V. So there, I'm initting my rollovers. Save it. Let's see if this works, okay? Sure enough, it's still working like a champ. Okay, so that's good, except for now we have a tiny problem, and that is the JavaScript file, the name doesn't make a lot of sense. If I come up here, for example, it says preloading images. Well, I'm really not preloading images. What I am doing is I'm setting up my rollovers. So I'll just go rollover setup. Rollover setup, JavaScript, and I'll use a capital R. Okay, that's good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here to this little critter and actually, well, it's gone now, right? It's gone. I can go to rollover setup and it doesn't exist. It's saying, hey, that doesn't even exist. So what I will do is I'll come over here into the spot like so, click on this, and I'll call it rollover, rollover setup. Okay? So I've named it to rollover setup, come over here, and now it's loaded it all up. Go back to code, looks good. Go back to here, reload all of this. Not working too good, huh? Because I just reloaded it and it said, forget you. Okay, interesting. So what have I done wrong? Did I save this? That's what my problem is. See, it's not saved. Come over here. Reload this. Ah, much better. And I click, and sure enough, that loads up. So hopefully you'll find this useful. Don't know what else to say, so talk to you later.